Come in. Hello.
Hey, Tanner. Oh, hello, Todd.
Good to see you. This is Todd.
Todd.
My kitty. Uh-oh.
Oh, I think he's angry. All right, let's go over some talking points.
Welcome. All right, well, welcome to my apartment. Got some questions here. With the season officially ending a week ago, how are you feeling?
You know, you would know, during the season, I called it the void of mediocrity.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's just a lot of silence and nothingness, and just trying to find ways to fill the time and just get ready for the next year. How about you?
Honestly, it's pretty boring. I feel like, the whole point of competing is to go play in international tournaments, and I think it always feels very disappointing to just be sitting at home during these times, because you kind of get to watch everyone on streams and on Twitter, social media, kind of doing what we are fighting to do. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty boring. I think boring is the number one word for it, because you're just watching everyone do what you wish you were doing.
Filled of jealousy and
Motivation for next year.
All right, going into 2025 with a completely new team, what were my expectations? In comparison to 2024, 2025, we were looking to build a more quote-unquote proven talent-oriented roster, and so we aimed for like Fudge that had great history of winning championships and performing well, and then Contracts Juan, who also had pretty good highs, and then we brought in Seus that also had a long history of winning championships in Brazil too. So we tried to have this overall theme of people that quote unquote knew how to win, and try to build our new roster around that foundation in general, and also paired Palafox with Contracts to get that synergy. And then I think the expectation / goal going into 2025 was that because we weren't star-studded as they were perceived in the past, I think at the time when we were building, I think the immediate goal was to break into the top 4, because at the time, I think C9, TL, and Fly were pretty solidly considered top 3, and then 100 was like a dark horse type, like can be really good, can be not the greatest. So I think taking 100th spot in that top 4, I think was our immediate / long-term goal going into 2025.
I mean, I think, because obviously I wasn't here for any of the roster building from 2024 into 2025, but from the outside, it definitely appeared to me that Shopify was trying to make a statement on changing the way that they were viewed, because I think the first 2 years of Shopify, or it was just the 1 year, it just felt like really, really ragtag, really like this is the best we could put together, and just figuring it out for that first year. So it definitely felt like, okay, now Shopify are kind of ready to contend a bit. Next question. Coming off of a successful year, what did you have planned for 2025? I'm assuming this one's for me. You know, the last couple years of my coaching career have been really, I don't want to say random, but very opportunistic, because I went from doing positional coaching in 2022 and 2023 into doing performance coaching for FlyQuest in 2024. I mean, the way that came about was I worked really closely with the performance coach that we had on CLG. That was my performance coach when I was a player. So I mean, going into 2025, I was basically just refining my role as a performance coach at FlyQuest. So I handled a lot of the Split 1 startup for FlyQuest, and I was planning to stay there the whole year. Obviously, Shopify opportunity came up, and I think a big reason why I'm here today now is because Shopify definitely offered to give me more control over the team, give me more, there's just more on my shoulders when I came to Shopify versus on FlyQuest. It almost felt like I couldn't fail. It was just like I could do whatever I want at FlyQuest, and it felt like they were trusting me with what I was doing as a performance coach. But then this job, it's more like I can do what I was doing as a performance coach with FlyQuest, and then also get back into the strategy side of things, which I think naturally just felt super natural for me because I have all this experience doing it. But yeah, like I said, all I had planned for 2025 was doing performance coaching with FlyQuest, and then this opportunity came, which I was very grateful for.
All right, next one. How was Split 1 for you? What was going through your head after the early exit? Split 1 for me is amongst my, I think, 11 splits of coaching. It was the second worst split in matters of my peer performance, because it was I think I was not doing a good job of weathering the dynamic of like a lot of these new, even though that was the initial goal, like a lot of championship vet oriented players that had a lot of voices, and managing those voices, or like getting us all on the same page, and the dynamic of like this seed in everyone's mind that like, oh, it is quote unquote just a sub at the time. And even though that is the case, working through what we had at the time, and also integrating Zazel well into the rest of the team, I think I failed pretty bad at that. So the early exit was almost expected, and it was pretty terrible all around. Just my performance, team performance, everyone's performance, their attitudes, my attitudes. It was just like, overall, just a miserable split. Not just because of the actual face value result, but it was bound to be. And yeah.
Do you know how long it was from when you guys lost Split 1 to when I came in the off season and started working with you guys?
It was roughly, I think 3 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks, because I remember this is related to the next question, because I'm gonna go off script and go this way. With WildTurtle retiring, the assistant coach position opened up. Was Tanner your first choice? Why or why not? So, follow up on your question. We had a end of split dinner at Din Tai Fung, and Turtle, I already knew because he let me knew beforehand, but he also announced to the team that he was probably just going to retire, and this was like a farewell dinner. And during that dinner, because it was out in the open, I just asked like people, okay, do you guys have any candidates that you think will be good additions to the team? And I remember both Contracts and Palafox saying like, oh yeah, Damonte, he's really good. We should try to get him. You were on FlyQuest at the time. And I remember like inquiring, would that be quote unquote poaching? But apparently it wasn't, because you weren't on the GCD at the time.
Yeah.
And there was like stuff like that. The other candidate was Croissant, which was also part of the NRG squad. And then I heard descriptions of each person's attributes, and the overall decision at the time, which I'm pretty happy with, came down to the fact that it felt like Croissant was more my type, and I don't think we needed more of my type per se.
Yeah.
And I just had a gut feeling that you and I would mesh well.
Yeah.
So we just went that way, and yeah, pretty happy with that personally.
It worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I would say I definitely ended this year happy in the sense of like the progress that we made, or like what we did. I don't think the result was exactly what we wanted, but I think it was a good time, like from day one when I first started working with you to the very end. We actually like really upped how we work together, which I thought was really cool. I don't think I experienced that with other staffs before. How was getting upset by 100 Thieves in Split 1? So I'm assuming you're talking about the Brazilian tournament when I was still with FlyQuest. I don't know, Split 1 was really, really weird. Also, I missed a lot of context from Split 1 and what happened in Brazil, because I was dealing with a pretty bad back injury at the time. So I didn't actually go to Brazil with FlyQuest, but I was with FlyQuest. Since I was doing it kind of like remotely, what it kind of felt like is a lot of the FlyQuest players that we didn't value that tournament at all. Like, I think there was a lot of egos at that time with FlyQuest, and I think that attributes a lot of the loss at the time. It's just like, people were unhappy with the stay, or people were unhappy with going to Brazil, and honestly kind of like bullshit excuses a lot of time, but from the outside that's kind of how it felt. Like we didn't try our hardest in that tournament or in split one at all, and that's not a great thing or a great look, but it kind of felt like the reality of the situation. People were like unhappy with the format, unhappy with staying at the hotel, but like I said, I wasn't there, so I actually don't know the full circumstances of that. But we were definitely disappointed in ourselves. You know, the year before we just took Genji to 5 games, like I think 3 months before losing to 100 Thieves in Brazil. So definitely it wasn't fun. How was getting upset by 100 Thieves? Not fun. When the opportunity to join Shopify popped up, what were my thoughts and what interested me to join? I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I think ownership is the biggest thing. It kind of felt like on FlyQuest, I was attributing to what we were building, and I was helping, and I was like designing things, but nothing ever fell on my shoulders too much because I worked with a league team, I would say 90% of the time with FlyQuest, but I also had responsibilities on their other esports, which was really cool for me to do. So I would say like the ownership that came with this role, and being on stage before the games, and just having more presence in the room, I think was cool, because not only was I helping with all the players' mental health or helping with how we practice, I was also kind of getting in the weeds of strategy, which kind of brought me back to my roots, which is fun.
So from my perspective, what changed when Damonte joined? From my perspective, I think my biggest weakness is organization, whether in my actual life or even in matters of coaching per se. I think I have like general decent ideas or directions that I want to present or lead as like a coach, but it's not very well organized or presentable in matters of a visual manner. Like I think you're really good at, what's that website you use? Where you track all the...
Oh, Notion.
Yes,
yeah.
That plus like you also provided the whiteboard system that keeps us on track with like, okay, these are our general weekly goals and these are our daily results, and like these are quotes that can help motivate. So there was way more structure provided, whether in small things or big things. So that helped me a lot. I think that was what I was lacking a lot. And also because of what happened in split one, and also this is primarily just me. I'm not a very big, let's be jolly, out of nowhere type person. I can be a happy person, you wouldn't just say, at times, but I'm not a very like just flip a switch and we can all be happy type of guy.
Yeah.
But so we were all kind of in the gutter, but not only with your arrival, with also Sales's arrival, but when you first came in, you also had this like ownership, motivation coming in you, so you were really motivated. Sales was really motivated, so that also helped a lot of us also get reignited in our passion. And then another thing is like the daily stretches that we do. That honestly helped me a lot. Just everything, and obviously I like the details of the mid lane specific champs, or also the connections that you had with our mid jungle because of the 2 years prior on CLG/Energy. That also helped a lot too.
Yeah.
So
can I tell the story of like the first day when I came in the off season?
I don't know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because this is like a good story from me and my perspective, and I'll just say it basically exactly how I felt. It was like the day, I think it was the day after I signed the contract, or maybe I didn't sign the contract yet, but it was all like 100% gonna happen. Like I was coming to Shopify, I was leaving FlyQuest, this is my next 5 months, year, whatever happens. Anyways, I think it was like a month before Split 2 started, and you guys were doing 9 a.m. workouts, and then doing solo queue at the office from I think like 10 to like 4 p.m. or something. Something like relatively chill, but like Anyways, I showed up to your apartment at, I want to say like 7:30 or 8 a.m. And this is the first time me and Sam met in person. And we talked for an hour before like the team gym sesh and the team solo queue sesh. It all went great. We had a great conversation that morning, which like really invigorated me to like, I was like, nice, this is gonna be a good time. And then once 9 a.m. came around and like we went to the gym and then the players were supposed to be at the gym as well. And then each player, like, I don't remember who was on time. I think maybe one person was on time, but each player was showing up like 9:05, 9:10, 9:15, 9:20. And at this point, I couldn't really work out or do cardio because of my back still. So I was like doing yoga in the corner of the gym and I was just watching, I was just observing. And that's what I wanted to do for my first week, is just kind of like watch what happened. Or like, I was trying to figure out, where's this team at? Anyways, everyone was late. No one was like, everyone just looked miserable. Yeah. From my perspective, every single person in that room was like pretty miserable. Everyone just put on their headphones and then went and walked on the treadmill for like 30 minutes. And then everyone left, went home to their apartments, showered, and then we all re-met up at the office at like 10:30, 11. So I was like, so we just spent like an hour and a half walking on the treadmill. I'm not sure if anyone here wants to be doing that. And then we spent another 45 minutes showering, going to the office to play solo queue in the middle of like off season. And I let the day play out. I was like, okay, this is, I personally felt like, oh shit, something, like we really need to change something. So and then my first like decision, which I really was happy that you allowed me to make this decision. I was like, okay, the first thing we're gonna do is like, tell these players to go home and we're gonna re-meet up in like 5 days. So like my first actual decision as a coach was like, hey, give these guys 5 days off or like 4 days off, which was a big risk on my end because I felt like I was coming in and being like, yo, give these guys more vacation. They need more vacation. But I just felt like if we didn't create a new chapter starting from like that time and we just allowed that space to keep evolving how it did, it was gonna be fucking miserable. Because I could just tell the energy was just super bad, which I always just thought that was a funny story for me because it basically the first thing I did as a coach was like, hey, go take 4 days off, everyone. And it just felt necessary to like kind of start a new chapter in Shopify's books.
Yeah, it's that type of like dynamic, even regarding that situation, is like the balance in between of like you're over here and I'm over here and like this is probably gonna work for us, and it's like you stroll me that way, maybe sometimes it goes the other way. I think it's a pretty good dynamic overall.
No, it was good. And the fact that you trusted me to like actually make that decision, because you know, it's like, kind of like I'm the assistant coach coming in and then this guy's telling me to like tell my team to take 5 days off. And I think like that is like a risk in itself. Like I actually wasn't sure if I should do that, but I just felt that was like the right thing to do. And then I think that honestly, right off the bat, made our relationship strong because you showed that you trusted what I thought. And yeah, it was definitely a good for me and you at that time. I think right away our bond grew stronger. What are the differences between FlyQuest and Shopify Rebellion? FlyQuest is definitely much more, I don't know how to say this. They definitely have much more of a top-down kind of like structure coming from Papa Smithy. I would say Shopify feels more grassroots esporty to me, which is honestly great. It's kind of like we are just allowed to do what we want, and it feels like we're figuring it out. It feels like Shopify is figuring it out. But on FlyQuest, it feels like they much more, I don't want to say they figured everything out because I don't think that's true, but they definitely have much more like
directives.
Yeah, so like they just have much more like top-down things being forced everywhere, which is like, I think probably normal for an org that's been around longer. But like I said, Shopify is like much more grassroots, and I would say more, it reminds me more of like the early days of esports, which is, you can take that however you want, honestly. But I think it's like, they provide everything that we need and then we figure it out, which is really, it's cool for the coaching staff, honestly. I really like it. Yeah. Look at that good boy. Good fat boy.
After ending third in split 2, how did you feel? Honestly, this entire split was really good in comparison to the 2 other splits. even though on face value the result was the same in Split 3, I think Split 2 was really good because, as mentioned before, it was like a start of a new process, and it was like a semi-new honeymoon phase. And I think between Split 1 and Split 2, whether as individuals or as a team, we just accepted that maybe you guys were champions in the past, but right now we're just shit, and we need to accept that we're shit if we're going to have the goal to not be shit. Yeah. But we did that in a positive manner and like a really good like let's fucking go guys type manner, which was all a really good process. I think like every week, borderline every day was like people were actively trying to improve as individuals and as a team, and I think we slowly built up from like the 6th, the 5th level, like in matters of strength, 4th, 3rd, even though we lost, I think we lost our initial best of 3 to TL, and then we managed beating them in playoffs. So there was like a very slow and steady progression that never really faltered in Split 2. That made me feel really good about the split.
Yeah, that was a fun growth split.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone's egos were pretty shattered going into like Split 2. Mm-hmm. It felt like a lot of our players lost that fire, or like the understanding of how to win, and they were just like, wow, we fucking suck. Which is like, it almost makes it easier to rebuild from that point because a lot of egos are almost gone. And then, we were like rebuilding what made all these players great in the past. And then, that's the narrative we definitely tried to like spread on them. It's like, okay, you guys have done it before, but if you're gonna do it again, you have to kind of like reinvent yourself almost. Like I feel like you can't just keep winning trophies doing the exact same thing over and over, unless you're like a complete anomaly. Thoughts on the pick and play format for Split 3? I don't know, it's just honestly really bad. I think it was...
Really? I think it only was really terrible because of how the league's strength structure is. That there was such a clear top 4 and a bottom 4 that people had almost logically pre-decided opponents.
Yeah.
But if the league was way more well-rounded, like there wasn't such a big gap between like either the top 4 or the bottom 4, or even amongst the bottom 4, like there's like a top 2 and a middling 2 and all of that, I think it would have been much more interesting, but it could have been more interesting.
Sure, yeah. I think the format in itself is like kind of fun and cool, and the flag thing and everything was like cool. But the biggest problem to me is that the worst teams only got 3 weeks to play. So if you could actually hybridize the format into being like an actual like 6 to 9 week regular season, and then you go into this pick and play thing where you get to pick your opponents and do all these things, I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
But the way that Split 3 happened, it felt like it came and it went within like a month and a half. And to me, it's almost just unacceptable for our professional league to like have gone through something like that, especially just based on the past. It's just like, the format just felt really bad to me in that sense, where there was no longevity, there was no building through the split. It almost felt like you were on go mode from week 1. Like you had to win. You didn't have time to improve. Yeah,
it was indeed a bit rushed.
Yeah, but in the sense of like it being fun or cool and unique, I actually did think it was kind of cool. But it definitely needs a lot of optimizing if they ever want to do that again.
How did you feel about the league's strength this year? I could honestly talk about this, I think, for 30 minutes. But I think there was a lot of different opinions from most people about like this entire topic. But I actually think, first of all, nowhere near as bad as people say. I think it's people say, like, I'll just start off with the very first opinion that most people bring up, that like NA is a one-team region. Sure, but I think that's to the merit of how good FlyQuest is, not like how the shit the rest of us are. Obviously, it feels bad to say this after we lost in a 5-game series to the
Brazil.
2nd seed of Brazil as the 3rd seed of NA. But regardless, it's just, I think Fly being that good doesn't really make us that bad, or like doesn't really dictate the league's strength per se. I think they're just like a legitimate like top 8 team in the world, maybe even higher depending on luck or whatnot. I think It actually wasn't that bad. Like, we had progression throughout the year. We started out as like 6th, and then we went 3rd, and then DSG, even though they were just like winless for like the split, 2 splits, they ramped up and took C9 to 5 games. I also think like Lion, for instance.
Yeah, Lion was good.
Lion, despite having like visa issues and like very unstable environments, they were really solid in my opinion. I think they just choked a little on stage.
This is where, like, if there was an actual 9-week regular season,
Yeah.
the storylines would have been insane.
Yeah.
Because I think Dignitas was the only team that was truly, like, bad
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
And even Dignitas, like, they had moments, I felt like, even in practice, like, they would beat us, like, relatively often. But they were the only team that I would say felt uncoordinated completely. Actually, 100 Thieves had a great story this year. Lion had a great story. We had a great story. Like, everyone was improving a lot, and it felt like C9 faltered, and that's why a lot of people feel that the league sucked, is because C9 was supposed to be the second best team, and their team play just like collapsed, even though they had individual like great talent.
And so did TL too, but it's just like, just because the what is it, the popular orgs or the big name orgs that had good results faltered, I don't think that should just highlight like, oh, now the league's just shit now. I really don't think, even without bias, it works that way. It's just, yeah. This is a very loaded topic.
Yeah. The take almost kind of makes me sad, because I feel like like LCS and the LTA, I feel like the last couple of years have been really good.
Yeah.
Pretty good storylines and pretty good play. But the perception from the community, it always kind of,
NA bad.
It's just that's just the thing. And I feel like that culture has been ingrained ever since like co-streaming, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, ever since co-streaming started, it's just like NA bad has just gotten so insane. And I would like to see that narrative change around one day, but we'll see. Gotta get there. Top 5 moments of the year. I don't know if I can list 5. My memory's not that good. Beating C9 in Split 3 was definitely a great moment. I think the number 1 moment for me. Felt like all of our hard work kind of led to that moment throughout the like 5-6 months that we were together, and it was like, oh shit, nice, we can do it. And like having that moment means so much to any team, especially a team that's like constantly clawing at the top. That was my number 1 moment.
Yeah, I have one from, remember when, actually no, unfortunately, because of timing and scheduling issues, you weren't there, but we went to karaoke. Actually, we also separately went to karaoke.
Yeah, we went to karaoke on
So the
different
2 karaokes. There was also that moment, I actually have it on my phone, but when Juan pulled all the guys to his computer to do like an individual VOD review, that was that plus, he normally is the fastest to leave, but there was one day where he was alone in a dark practice room, and I took a photo of that too. I think those memories stick out to me.
I think Fudge sometimes in like team environment stuff, when like things really needed to change with our team, Fudge would completely take over the room. And that was some of my favorite moments, honestly. I was like, damn, nice Fudge. Like, that's exactly what we needed in those situations. I think I had a lot of moments with Seos over the split of just like Seos is a comedian. And like, I think he was really shy for Split 2.
Yeah.
But then for Split 3, he started being a big jokester.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, dude, this guy's fucking funny.
Yeah. We landed 3rd overall in Split 3. So what did we improve the most on? Even though in general, I'm a bit clouded just by my perception of how we became 3rd in comparison to Split 2 and Split 3, but I think in matters of actuality, because if I had to choose specific things, I think we improved our champion pool a lot. I think in Split 2, we were somewhat merchants of how we drafted and how like we really honed in on, we just really want to win and improve right now. So narrowing down very specific comps, which at the time were like the Annie, Ari, mid jungle like playmaking into like side lane damage, etc. Whereas Split 3, I think we like started high prioring like Orianna, for instance, or like Azir. So like, and a lot of these champions just automatically have aspects about the game that not only the player piloting that specific champion, but the team also needs to know how to play around the team. Like the jungle and the AD carries and the tops roles within a game is vastly different from when your mid laner's Annie or when your mid laner's an Orianna or an Azir. So I think just overall game aspects related to whatever champs that were in the game, I think we learned as a team a more holistic approach to play League in my head.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's hard to feel like super great about Split 3 because I do feel that like we kind of collapsed in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which it kind of ruins the judgment of the whole split because I think early split was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then just like leading up to the final tournament, it felt like we started faltering as like a unit a lot. And that's like every player, every coach, just like I think we all could have done more. So it almost feels.
Yes, that bitter taste.
It feels like it went worse than it did, but that's fine. I mean, that just goes to show that we improved a lot from like the beginning of the year. If you had to describe this year to a song or a movie, what would it be? This is hard. I'm so bad at movies or songs. The Pursuit of Happiness with Kid Cudi, or is that Kid Cudi or whatever that is? I would say, because I think when I first joined, I was like, okay, this team needs to like actually enjoy their lives, or else we're going to suck.
It didn't pan out exactly how I wanted, but I listened to the Amazing Digital Circus song like I think 300 times. It was actually listening to it every single day so that I can get kind of amped up in my like motivation for the day, because the song is very like anime-esque, like really uplifting type music. So yeah, I'll just say that one. It felt like we were amping up and ramping up. It's that vibe of song. Yeah. Thoughts on LCS being back?
Thank you. Thank God. I don't know why I left, and I'm happy we're back.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can start a new era and things can start growing or stabilizing again, because the direction that everything was going for, I would say, probably 5 years, it was pretty bad. So I think this is a good first step.
And ties into excited for 2026. I think for me, this notion has been repeated amongst ourselves with Landon and whatnot. I think 2026 is going to be a very start of a new chapter type year, not only for us, but for the whole region, because word on the street is a lot of roster changes will be made throughout the entire league in comparison to past years. And also LCS is coming back, so that's like a new thing. There will be, if I remember correctly, more guaranteed world spots and you fight for third type thing.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But overall, obviously every new year is going to be exciting, but I really think this year is going to be pretty significant in just objectively.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a huge year for us as Shopify, because it feels like Shopify is ready to commit to like complete excellence across the board. I think like the first year you guys were figuring it out, and then the second year we kind of like started this path to getting a trophy, to getting to be the best and the greatest and striving for more. And it feels like this is like a big opportunity to take Shopify and really disrupt the top orgs, which is like FlyQuest and 100 Thieves and Cloud9. And we already did that a little bit this year. But since it almost feels like a big reset for everyone, you can like establish that we are going to be a top 3 team for the rest of existence in Shopify and in the LCS. So like, it feels like a big opportunity.
Yeah, just from an organizational standpoint, like you speak about orgs in a very different breadth in comparison to, no offense, like Dignitas, Immortals, whereas how you speak about like Team Liquid, Cloud9, etc. So I think just getting to that latter part of like when you speak about the org, there's like weight behind it, and there's like an image in your head of like excellence or that upper echelon. I think that's what we're really trying to break into, and not show that this glimpses of good performance was not a fluke. I think that that progress as an org is, I think, what we're all trying to strive for.
Yeah. And it's cool too, it's fun, because every single aspect of Shopify is trying to do this right now as well. It's not just like the League of Legends team, but it's like the camera team and the Rocket League team and then our big bosses. It just feels like, all right, year 3 of Shopify, let's like nail everything now. Let's really strive for the top. Like we kind of got our roots down, so now it's time, which is fun. And also I'm like acknowledging that this like little off-season time, I gotta enjoy like this downtime because it's about to get really busy for us. We're about to be at every international. We're about to be working 9, 10, 11 months out of the year at these tournaments. So like, this is gonna be the last time to chill before it's like, let's go.
Yeah. So overall, at the end of 2025, even though the end was a bit bitter, I think overall, it was a pretty successful year and a pretty meaningful year, and a really good foundation to even put more bricks on top of what we're building. And I'm just really excited for 2026. And yeah.
Same. I think anyone who's watching this video, if you've made it this far, be a fan of Shopify, because it feels like this is a true new org to the league who's taking things serious, who is trying to be the best. And us as coaches, like we're also going to be really pushing the envelope in that aspect, and buy the stocks early when other people haven't yet, because it's going to be a good story and it's already started. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you guys next time.